Your reactions to bad behavior are not what's ruining your relationships. The actions that very rightfully lead to your reactions are what's ruining your relationships. Stop blaming yourself for reacting badly to bad behavior. Stop blaming yourself for trying to heal from something that someone put you through and saying, well, if I didn't react in the way that I did, maybe the relationship would still be intact. If I didn't try to heal the way that I tried to heal, then the relationship would be intact. That person would still be in my life. What you're doing is you're putting the entire responsibility for the relationship falling apart on yourself when all you were trying to do is make sense of what you were going through. We all have that one friend or know that one person who has said the story of, my partner did this and I just acted as if it wasn't a big deal and that it didn't affect me, even though it really did on the inside. And they changed their behavior because it saw that it doesn't affect me. And it's seductive to hear stories like that because it makes you think, well, maybe if you don't react, that person will change as a result of you not reacting. You have to remember that those stories are a play on a person's ego. They don't really mean that the other person's behavior actually changed. It could just mean that, yeah, maybe their intention from hurting the person that they're with is to see that bad reaction, and when they stopped getting that reaction, they just stopped the bad behavior. But it doesn't mean that their character is completely different. That's still the person who has tried to hurt the other person. So the next time you hear a story like that, I want you to remember that those are usually exceptions and those are usually just a play on the ego. If somebody hurts you and you react to that pain, that's completely normal. If somebody lies to you and you have an overblown, how could you reaction, that's normal. You're a human being. Could you learn over time better ways of responding and better ways of reacting? Absolutely. But the part I really want you to get is that your reaction isn't the reason that the relationship fell apart. The behavior that the other person was doing to you that was clearly affecting you and hurting you is what caused that relationship to break apart. Stop blaming yourself for being a normal human being who has normal reactions to things that people do to hurt them. And I'm not talking about the everyday stuff that happens in relationships where maybe you don't get your way, or maybe you have to compromise, or maybe you have to communicate about something. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about lying, I'm talking about cheating, I'm talking about abuse, I'm talking about mistreatment. Don't think that your inability to act nonchalant and like things don't affect you is the reason that that relationship is falling apart or already fell apart. It's not your reaction. The relationship itself is not the right one for you in the first place. You don't want someone in your life who is willing to hurt you. You don't want someone in your life who the only way that they will stop trying to hurt you is if you pretend like you're not hurting as a result of what they're doing to you. You don't want that. You have to ask yourself, what is your end goal of being in that relationship? Sometimes we try so hard to prove other people wrong that we end up wasting our lives doing that. You don't want to do that. You have an X number of years to live. If somebody hurt you in a way where you had a really bad reaction and you're worried about what they're going to think and what the people around them are going to think, and you're like, maybe if I just behave differently or more calmly or more maturely, then They will see me differently, and I will change the way they look at me, and therefore I will be okay. Stop wasting your time and your life trying to convince people of who you are. If they want to see the goodness in you, a little moment where you step out of character isn't going to be what completely changes their opinion of you. If they see you as a bad person because you reacted badly to something bad that happened to you, then they already saw you as a bad person in the first place. And that's not on you. That's not on you to own, and it's not on you to change. That's just how they see you, and you'll never know why. It could be that they're jealous of you. It could be that they are intimidated by you. It could be that they just don't like the way that you think. They just don't like the way that you operate in the world. And so they will take any opportunity to say, yeah, I knew that they were a bad person. I knew that they were like this, overly sensitive, overly whatever. It's not your responsibility to change the way that people see you. And it's not your responsibility to sit there and justify why, when you were burning, you were trying to soothe your injuries. It's not your responsibility to explain that to those people. It is your responsibility to give yourself the medicine that you need and heal. That's the only responsibility you have. At the end of the day, people's opinions genuinely do not mean anything. They don't. They don't change your life. In 5 years, in 10 years, even maybe in a few months, you're going to look back at those people and think to yourself, wow, they really are nothing to me. Because the only people who belong in your life are the ones who actually are there for you. Only the people who are present with you, the people who see what you're going through and actually feel with you and have empathy for you. So don't get deluded by people who make you feel like maybe if you try a little bit harder, you will get their approval. You're never going to get their approval. You'll try a little bit and you'll see that finish line, like, oh, I will finally get their approval. And then they'll move the finish line even further. And you'll keep working hard and hard and hard. And at the end of the day, you're not on your own path. You're on the path that you think they want you to be on so that they could approve of you. Stop wasting your life by trying to prove who you are to people who are not willing to see you for who you are. Reacting badly to bad treatment doesn't make you a bad person. If someone threw a bag of garbage at you and they're throwing it and you just all of a sudden go like this, and so a little bit of that garbage goes back on them, does that mean that you are a bad person for trying to dodge this bad thing that's coming onto you? No, it's like a reaction that you can't even control. So you have to give yourself some grace when something like that actually happens. Take your time and learn how to react to people's behavior in your life in a way that helps you conserve your integrity and your character, and that helps you feel better in the long run, absolutely. But if you are looking back at certain relationships in your life where you felt like you reacted so badly and so out of character, I want you to have some compassion toward yourself. We're all learning. Sometimes we do things and we're like, where did that come from? I'm not like this. And it's like, maybe it is part of who you are because that part of you hasn't matured yet and hasn't learned that there are better and healthier ways for you to navigate the world and respond to the people around you. But don't look back and say, oh, I deserved even more bad treatment because I reacted badly to the bad treatment in the first place. You are not the one who caused that pain. to come to you. Someone else's decision to hurt you is completely on them. It's not the way that you respond to that bad treatment that's going to change them or their behavior. That's a choice that they have to make. You are not their parent. You are not responsible for teaching them a lesson. You are responsible for healing from the bad things that happen to you. So stop blaming yourself for your reactions. And remember, it is not your reactions to bad treatment that are ruining your relationships. Those relationships are broken in the first place. I hope this helps, and until next time, have a lovely day.